We're on? Hey, we're on. Hi, live streamer. The red light is blinking. That means we're recording the latest episode of Three Men and a Baby Face. This week, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, especially video games. We had two huge conferences, Sony and Nintendo, and I know my guys want to talk about that. We also got the holiday season right around the corner, so let's spend some time talking about the games we're most excited about. I'm joined, as always, with the hardest working panelists in Southern Florida. Let's start off with my man, Neo. What up?
Xbox transform.
Next to him, directly to his right, if you're looking at the live stream screen, is my man Sonic Nerd. What's good, Sonic?
What's up, man? Coming at you live in full 900p, baby.
Not this week, you ain't. And last but not least, all the way to the left, right here is Smooth B25. What's really, really, really good, Smooth?
What's going on, fellas? Coming at you guys at 1440. Not full 4K, but, 1440.
Damn. I love the special effects how you only have half of your face on the screen while you record. That's that hot shit. Listen, let's do this, man. I'm going to start right there with you, Smooth, because Nintendo happened this week. They finally had something to announce. And you being the Nintendo ambassador, I want to get your take on it because it's weird. People got there's sort of like two views on what Nintendo announced. Obviously, they're venturing out into mobile, if you guys don't know. They're putting a lot of resources and a lot of business money into the mobile platform. And we're talking about Apple specifically. But anyway, having heard that and having heard everything that we got there, there's some people that are saying that this is just Nintendo expanding their brand. Now everyone's going to have Pokemon Go on their phone, as if they don't already. Expanding their brand, or really just like continuing their dominance on mobile gaming and portable gaming. Since the Game Boy, really, there's never really been much competition. So is it that, or B, there's a lot of people that are saying that basically this is them admitting somewhat of that they've had failures, that they've had a lot of shortcomings, and they kind of got to branch out and see if they can continue their business maybe elsewhere. So taking that into consideration and everything you heard, Smooth, Nintendo, Power, is it here? Is Nintendo still playing with Power?
Absolutely. I think they still are playing with Power. I think it's a combination of two things. So one, this gives them the opportunity to recapture that casual audience that they had with the Wii and the DS. Going back, you had the DS Touch series, you had the Wii Sports, you had that lower price for entry. So everybody had a Wii. Grandmothers had a Wii. My aunt, my uncle, everybody had one. With the introduction of the mobile space, iPhones, Androids, tablet, when people got new phones, they'd give their old phones to their kids. So the price for entry was $0 at that point. So now you have your newer generation of kids who are growing up with Angry Birds, Flappy Bird, all these games out there, and they're not getting that Nintendo experience because Nintendo historically stayed on their device. Now that they're coming into mobile, this would be their second mobile app. They had Miitomo, which is their social experiment. They have the Mario Run. This is their chance to recapture that and start hitting the kids early with that Nintendo magic.
So you're buying that Nintendo's playing with Power. There's actually a lot of people agreeing with you. I thought there'd be more doubt, especially coming from Mr. Microsoft directly to the right of you. Neo's got something to say about it.
You know what, though? I mean, all right. Do I have a little bit of doubt? Yes. I think that financially it was a good decision. What did the stocks went up like, 30%? I started doing a little bit of research, and I heard like things that were shocking. For example, like 3D World and Mario Brothers U only sold 5 million copies. I mean, I understand that the Wii U wasn't doing so hot, but those are low numbers, I guess, with respect to in Nintendo standards, right? So opening the door to mobile, that's just crazy. What is the install base, like 1 billion?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Pokemon Go, they were the fastest to $500 million in revenue. And that's not even Nintendo's biggest IP. I mean, you slap Mario on there and forget about it. The sky's the limit.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing that really makes me think is, so what does this mean for Nintendo? Is Nintendo slowly becoming a third party? Are there any, profits in console sales anyway? Does it benefit them to come up with, let's say, a Mario Run game where it's $1 a download if they get 1 billion downloads?
Neo, you sound like you're coming from the camp that thinks that this is them sort of admitting that they have some shortcomings in the past. So am I wrong in saying you're of the camp that doesn't think they're playing with Power?
Well, I think that this is not traditional Nintendo as you see it. I see this as like Nintendo saying, look, there's a market to be tapped. Let's make some money. Because right now, you know, I mean, if you take away Pokemon Go, that Mario money is going to be amazing compared to Pokemon Go money.
Yeah, and just to add to that, it's like this isn't going to replace their main business line. You know, this is going to introduce those younger gamers to Mario, and then maybe they'll want to graduate to an NX, you know, and get that full experience. I mean, right now you got the pretty much, you know, those endless runner type games, which is cool for on the go. But if you want a deeper Mario experience, you're going to buy a 3DS or you're going to buy an NX, you know, and this is where you know it's starting them off.
I'm kind of worried that the fuller Nintendo experience is going to be at jeopardy because of this announcement. So I was watching this press conference and I was thinking, okay, this is very much in line with their mobile strategy. You got the NX, which is supposed to be this like new mobile / hybrid console platform. Supposedly, right? And it makes sense that, you know, they would partner with Apple, which is supposed to mimic their vision for the future, being a mobile and home console hybrid. But does that mean that we're going to get games more like Mario Run on the NX? Does that mean that while we know about Zelda and the Breath of the Wild coming out, but I mean, are those going to be the exception and not the norm for the NX? Is this going to be
what I'm worried about? They're putting some of their resources. They're going to put some of their better properties and some of their better people on mobile gaming now instead of entirely devoting themselves to Nintendo.
But that's where the money's at, right? That's where the money's at.
And that's the point. And that's the point. It's like the investors are going to support that decision. They're going to want Nintendo to invest heavily in games with microtransactions, in smaller, more easily digestible experiences than the big ones. And I'm worried that they're going to fall through the same rabbit hole they went through with the Wii U, which is few exclusives, few and far in between, and a ton of little mobile games here and there. I don't know if that's going to lend itself to sustainability, especially with, we'll talk about our next topic, with this kind of 1.5 mid-generation console life cycle. Not sure.
I disagree with that because, I mean, you know, remember, Nintendo partnered with DNA, which is a huge mobile developer over in Japan, and they're handling a lot of their mobile stuff. I mean, they have some of their other designers giving oversight, but their core development team is still working on the NX stuff. I mean, they combined their handheld and console studio, you know, 2 years ago. Everybody's in the same building. They're all working towards the same stuff. This way, games work cross-platform, whether it's on the NX home console or NX mobile console. I mean, all rumors at this point, but their development teams have been combined for the last couple of years. They're working on some big stuff. DNA is handling most of their mobile stuff. So I think we're still going to get the heavy hitters. The teams, Nintendo EAD, who work on Splatoon, the Mario Galaxies, those guys are still working hard on NX titles. But mobile stuff.
Are those going to be good sellers? Because at the end of the day, right now, here's the precedent that they're setting. Get Mario on your iPhone for $1, or get Mario on your iPhone for free. And then if you want to like download, get extra coins, pay $1, you know? But at the end of the day, they're setting the precedent that if you want a Nintendo game, it can be free on your mobile phone. That means that they don't got to pay for a console. They don't got to pay $60 for another game. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you start to look that I can see development resources going from console to mobile gaming just because there's more profits and then there's a bigger install base versus telling someone, here, you got to buy a $300 console and then a $60 game when other people can get that small little dose of Mario for free.
You know, what's funny is like we're trying to figure out what the next generation is, right? And we got people at Microsoft saying that we're going to go basically the PC route. And maybe Nintendo's saying like that's definitely not where we're at. And they're positioning themselves to be in the forefront when it comes to mobile shit. And I think that very well could be it. But, you know, I think the most important, the funniest thing about this is all about timing. Because imagine if this happens 6 years ago when like the Wii is at the climax of their livelihood. Like what we'd be saying is like this is like the effect of, this would all come out of confidence. You know what I mean? Everything would be coming out about the fact that they're riding high. And then if they make this move, we'd just be like, well, this is just, you know, them sort of flexing their muscles. But instead it's coming after the Wii U which is for the most part, especially to us, we're all hardcore gamers here. We think of it as somewhat of a failure. I'm a Nintendo dude, and to me, it's not what I expected. And since it's happening now, I'm sort of left with a sour mouth, like a sour taste in my mouth. And it does feel like this is them sort of accepting who they are in the game and saying, this is Sony, this is Microsoft, and unfortunately, we're something else. And that may be fine. That is fine. But anyway, as always, I think we just about covered it all. You guys nailed it. You know what it is. The other press conference this week, I'm going to jump right into it, guys, was PlayStation 4. And they talked about a few things, but what we really care about was not the Slim. What we care about is that PS4 Pro. And they spent time, man. They spent a lot of time talking specs and talking all the technical mumbo-jumbo. This is coming from a software engineer. All this technical mumbo-jumbo they were spitting out. And really, what I want to know is how you guys feel about it. Did you feel like it's time for you to go out and buy a PS4 Pro or upgrade to the PS4 Pro? Are you going to go ahead and wait for that price drop? Or are you going to pass on this thing entirely? I'm going to start with Mr. Microsoft himself, Neo, who's chewing his gum fucking loud as hell over there because he got
my bad. So, all right, this was really shocking because as an Xbox One owner, I realize now that my Xbox is going to be fourth place right now, right? Because you have the PS4 Pro in first. Actually, let's say Scorpio's in first. PS4 Pro in second. Then you have the PS4 in third. Then the Xbox One is in fourth. So right now,
two consoles into four.
I'm sorry.
Like to me, those are two consoles.
You have Scorpio, which would be the best. Then you have PS4 Pro. Then you have the PS4, and then you have Xbox One, which means graphically speaking, we are at the bottom of the totem pole, right? At the bottom, and it hurts. It hurts when that announcement, like when I read the details, I was just like, wow, it's really happening.
Microsoft's in pain.
Wave the white flag, you know.
Wow.
And this is where the shocker.
Game over.
I think I'm copping the PS4 Pro on day one.
Day one.
Yes.
Mr. Microsoft is copping PS4 Pro. Whoa.
PS4 Pro on day one. But it's not. Hold on. Let me just say this brief. Wow. It's not because of the 4K. It's not because of the 4K. It's
for you got an expensive TV and you got to justify it. That ain't it.
No. Because at the end of the day, $399 is the sweet spot. Everyone who has a PS4 doesn't need to, but they went in at $399. I feel perfectly comfortable going in at $399 for something that's going to look better than the PS4, definitely look better than the Xbox One. You know, I'm going to try that out. I'm going to have my my single player games, the PS4 Pro, and then I'll do multiplayer on the Xbox One, and then eventually when Scorpio comes out, I'll multiplayer on Scorpio.
So I, for one, am shocked
blown away.
that you had that take. I did not expect you to go there. Okay, having said that, this is a question of buy day one, wait for a price drop, or not buy it at all. So I before I answer that, saw this press conference, I didn't know how to feel, to be honest with you. I thought going into it, I was going to get all jazzed up, come on this podcast, be like day one, day zero, really, camping out, because I own a 4K TV.
I mean, we should mention the fact that you are the Sony guy. You are the PlayStation guy on the panel right now. All right? So some of us are talking about buying it for the first time. You're talking about upgrading.
I'm talking about upgrading. And what I'm also saying is I'm also the resident graphics whore of this panel as well. So I knew that the PS4 Pro, or the Neo at that time, would have been at least marginally better than the PlayStation 4. And that's exactly what I got, but I didn't expect Sony to deliver that message the way that they did. They had Mark Cerny go up there. If you guys don't know who Mark Cerny is, he's like their lead technical system director, designer. He went up there, he started talking about the differences between 4K and 1080p, but then he shows it on the screen, and he's like, look at 1080p, and then look how nice 4K looks, but we're all watching this in a stream, right? And then the next bizarre part was when he showed off Days Gone, which is a game that's coming out next year for the PS4, and he's like, all right, this is a scene that's in standard dynamic range, and now look at the scene in high dynamic range. And I'm going, did he switch it yet? or something wrong with my TV.
Yeah,
so I kind of I watched this going, I don't know if this is going to be as big of a jump as I thought it was. Now,
who was this press conference for, by the way? Who was in the audience? Was this was it insiders or was it Sony people? This was like an internal press conference, right? It was streamed.
This was, yeah, there was press and then there was like some internal Sony people. There weren't any fans in the audience. That's why I didn't hear a lot of claps and cheers and stuff when they showed footage. But here's the thing. It wasn't until after the press conference that all the information started leaking out about this thing. We learned that there's not a UHD Blu-ray player in this console.
Bam.
We also learned one little juicy nugget. Another juicy nugget. This isn't a native 4K console.
Okay.
Only a handful of games are going to be displayed in native 4K. The rest of them are going to be like slightly higher than 1080p, and they use some like tessellation computation to make it appear to be 4K, kind of, but it's not native 4K. And not to mention, they announced that they're not gonna upgrade the frames per second on the games because they want it to be in parity with the standard PlayStation 4. So I'm kind of looking at this thing going, I don't know if this is a good enough upgrade for me to trade in my current PS4 at $125 to get a $399 console. Having said that, I'm getting it day one because I'm dying to
Wow. Wow. The build up.
So yeah, I already got it on pre-order, so it's happening.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I pre-ordered it at Best Buy and I'm there for it. November 10th, baby. Let's go.
The build up of all build ups.
I am done. Later.
So I've been working on a flow chart that I was putting together on should you buy a PS4 Pro. So if you have a PS4 already, no.
I agree.
If you want the VR and you have a PS4, then yes, you should definitely upgrade to get the Pro, because from what we're hearing now, the PSVR is not going to work that well with the current PS4. Lower frame rate, lower graphical fidelity.
Did they talk about it during the presser? I didn't really see anything about the VR headset.
They mentioned it briefly. They said they would give it an improved experience for VR, but for what developers have been saying for months, that the VR barely works on the current PS4. So if you want a PSVR, then yes. If you have a 4K TV and the current PS4, to me the answer is still no, because the current PS4 will support HDR through a software update, and the fact that the PS4 Pro will not output native 4K, it's somewhere in between, you're not really losing that much. And then the last one, if you have a 4K TV and an original Xbox One, then yes, get the PS4 Pro. And Neil, pretty much jumped on board with that. So that solidifies my flow chart right there. But yeah, I mean, they really didn't show anything that was, leaps and bounds above what the current PS4 can do. Not for $400. So I'm saying no.
I mean, I don't know, man. That's just crazy.
So I'm coming from a world where obviously graphics are important to me, but it's more really like presentation to me than graphics specifically. And am I right in thinking that this is, I mean, except for you guys just mentioned the VR, everything that they mentioned was all about graphics and about the way the game's supposed to look. So
well, here's what I'll say about.
Go ahead. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So I had a chance recently to check out VR at my local Best Buy, the PSVR, but it was on a current PlayStation 4. It wasn't a PS4 Pro. I have to say the experience was awful. The resolution was super
What game
low.
did you play? I've played them all. Which one did you end up playing?
Oh, there was a tank game, and then there was a game that's like you're in a spaceship in space and you're shooting stuff.
Right.
Both games had very low resolution, and I don't know if it was a low frame rate or whatever, but when I left that experience, I felt dizzy and sort of sick.
Yeah, so I tried both.
The PS4 Pro, if the PS4 Pro gives you a better VR experience, then 100%. If you're interested in VR, you need to get a PS4 Pro, because the current PS4 experience with VR is not good. I mean, in my opinion, it's not that good. I felt sick afterward.
But then you're looking at $900 really at that point for a PS4 Pro and the headset. I'm sorry, and the camera, and the Move controllers, and the VR. I mean, that's almost $1,000 in for. It's going to be a bunch of tech demos for the first year and a half.
The VR starter bundle is like $399, and then buying a console itself is like
but $399, but without the controllers, without the camera.
I think between the two starter bundles, there's 2 starter bundles though. The 2 starter bundles cover everything.
Yeah, so
you have to get them.
It's $499 for everything that you need.
Yeah,
See, but if I'm in the
VR as a selling point though.
I don't know. When it comes to me, man, all I saw was that the greatest things about this new console were that they were going to make the games prettier. They weren't really going to change the way I play games. And I've done the VR stuff like you were saying, and I think I'm at least one generation away from that because I played it. And what I'll say about the VR is it does work. It does definitely work. I did feel like I was immersed. I got vertigo sometimes. Like I would turn myself upside down, and I really felt like I was experiencing something different. But we're definitely not there yet. You know, it was definitely a gimmick, not something that I could feel was a full-out game. I can't see that being a true full-out game. So I'm a ways away from that. So when I see the PS4 Pro, the greatest news to me about the PS4 Pro, the greatest thing about it is that now I'm going to be able to get the PS4 fat box because now the OG box is like a fat box because there's a slim now. So I'm going to get that OG fat box for under $200 this holiday season. That's probably the greatest.
Absolutely. This Black Friday, they're going to be liquidating the hell out of those current fat boxes.
Go ahead and spend money on all that pretty shit. I'll be playing the same game.
So you know that came into play when I was trying to figure out what I'm going to get. But do you really think they're going to drop that much in price? They're probably liquidating now. You know, because right now the Slim is already available. Like I think there's a deal right now for the Slim that's like $300 with Uncharted 4 and the wireless headset. So, I mean, if it's $300 with those, I don't see the Slim getting a price cut pretty soon.
So you don't think there'll be deals during Black Friday?
I do, but I think that they'll probably be like $250.
Remember the Xbox One S? When that shit was coming out about a month before, what we saw, that the Xboxes were damn near free. Talking about $250 for like 40 games, an extra controller, and 13 months of Xbox Live.
Agreed. I'm just saying that. Okay, if the Xboxes hit, if the PS4s hit 200, then I might need to question whether I get the PS4 Pro or not. But my decision,
and probably like Last of Us.
Yeah, because my decision to get the PS4 Pro was based on I pay $300 and I get the PS4 Slim, or I pay $400 and I get the PS4 Pro. So for that, I might as well pay the extra $100 and get that top of the line console than save the $100. Now, if the PS4 is available for $200, then that's a different story.
Man, save your money. Save your money. The games are not going to look that much better. And the holiday season here, we know Black Friday we're going to drop. We're going to buy 4 or 5 games for about $20. So do that. Buy 4 extra games instead of buying that. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not even better. Look, I can tell you right now, 4K is not that big a deal. I mean, it's great, right? But HDR, like I said, like our last podcast, you know, I think we all came to the agreement that HDR may be a bigger, you know, game changer than anything. So I'd rather have the HDR and the high specs, like running everything on high settings, you know, that the PS4 is going to give me. PS4 Pro.
I think if you want to save some money, Sonic is going to sell his PS4 anyway because he's getting the Pro. Get his for $150. You know there's not going to be any games that come out for the first 2 years that truly take advantage of that power. So it's like by then, you know, you figure there'd be a price drop. So
actually, the game that's playing right behind you right now, Horizon Zero Dawn, is the game that's going to take advantage of the PS4 Pro.
When does that launch?
I think that launches in February of next year, early next year. So
you know it's going to get delayed 3 more times.
Even if I don't think so. I think they've got too many heavy hitters coming out in the fall of next year. But that's another discussion.
That's a dope trailer. I love that trailer. You know what I liked about it is that when she climbs up to the top, it's sort of that map. That's how we have this weird like map integration. I remember in The Division when you open up the map, how it shows up on the ground around you. In Assassin's Creed, you do the synchronize and then it expands the map. Then you get to see what the rest of the world looks like. In Far Cry 4, the radio towers. It's cool that in this game, it's sort of like you climb a living tree of some way, and then you throw your staff down, and then she kind of pulses out through the veins of Earth, and that's what unlocks the map. I thought it was a fucking – I love that type of shit. I know you guys – every time we play a game, I talk about the map because I love when people get really creative with that type of shit. It shows like fucking – that there's thought behind every single little aspect of a game. And you know, speaking of
Ubisoft games as well.
Horizon is next spring, though. We don't want to talk about next spring. This Tuesday marks the beginning of the holiday season we all here drop entirely way too much money in the next upcoming months, especially Black Friday. We fucking go off. So, what are you guys most excited about? I know. So we're not even gonna talk about Call of Duty because we're all so excited about that one. So let's just give that one a given, and let's move on to the other game.
Call of Duty or Battlefield 1? I think we were kind of split.
And sarcasm. Sonic, what are you most excited about, man?
Dude, Battlefield 1. That is my most
God.
hyped
Hashtag
game.
fail.
No, man. Listen, the beta blew my
From
mind.
the makers of No Man's Sky.
No.
No Man's Sky with
Hold on. So I put that 26 minutes.
No, I'm kidding.
Adam put 26 more minutes in. What did you play? It got you buying it day one.
Well, first of all, I played it on both the PS4 and Xbox One. I put in at least maybe 8 hours in both.
Damn, I'm not checking both. Let's all just believe it. Let's just believe him. Because I'm not like
listen, man. Listen,
check this guy.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is, for the first time, made me feel more immersed in the Battlefield experience than any other Battlefield game.
How?
It was.
Tell me what about immersion?
Yes. What is it? Where do I go?
See,
let's be specific here. Immersion.
You guys can't see. You guys come from Overwatch, Call of Duty. You guys are used to your cartoony shit. Like, I'm used to realistic Battlefield experiences. Okay, listen, Battlefield 1.
Listen, if there's one thing that you
talk about surface level,
realistic Battlefield experiences. Go on.
Listen. Just from an aesthetic point of view, right? Graphic-wise, there's nothing better than Battlefield 1 in terms of multiplayer. Graphically. Sound design is some of the best sound I've ever heard in a game. You guys can't argue that. If you guys have headphones, I encourage you to play the beta right now and listen to how amazing the sound is. And yes, I'm going to throw out the term next-gen sound because it is next-gen sound. It is incredible. And DICE has a knack for creating amazing sound design in their games. And then more importantly, they have a campaign that they haven't talked too much about, but they did show like a little teaser trailer when they revealed the game a couple months ago.
Sonic, focus.
We're incredible.
You're talking about immersion. Why
drinking the Kool-Aid right now?
Immersive FPS ever. Don't go over and talk about horses now and campaigns and shit. Immersive multiplayer.
If you want to stick to multiplayer, you get your money's worth just in the multiplayer.
Well, it's the only thing you played, right? It's the only thing we played, beta. Yeah. We're talking the beta.
Well, this conversation is about most anticipated, right? The Battlefield 1 campaign can end up being complete shit, but I'm anticipating it because I have high expectations from the trailer that I saw. And I think they've learned a lot of lessons from the previous Battlefield games in terms of their campaign. And as well as the beta, they're going to learn a lot from this as well. So I think this is definitively my most anticipated game of the holiday season.
All right, I've been holding Neo back. Neo, ready, go.
All right, my most anticipated game is Destiny. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you weren't kidding. You actually aren't kidding. That's the thing.
No, I am kidding. It's probably Final Fantasy 15. That game.
This holiday.
It's this holiday, right?
They're going to delay it again. I
hope, because the last time I checked, it was like November something. But, that game is a game that typically you put in 80 hours into it. You know what I mean? And with other games, you already know what you're going to get. With Final Fantasy, there's just so much replay value. You're just going to be putting in so much work, you know. And after watching Kingsglaive, I can't even imagine the graphics that are going to be in Final Fantasy 15 because Kingsglaive was amazing. I suggest everybody watch it if they can.
Are you going to be playing this on your PS4 Pro or on your Xbox One?
I do not plan on playing it on an Xbox console.
Ah, very interesting. It'll either be my PlayStation 4 or a PS4.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Smooth. I'd love to hear what you got next. Is it going to be Mario Run for the Apple? What's your most anticipated game for 2016 holiday season?
Well, with Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World and 3DS not dropping until February 2017,
Dead ass serious.
It just disrupted the whole thing.
my most anticipated game. It's a toss-up between Recore and Watch Dogs 2. From what I'm hearing, Recore is having some issues before launch. So I'm going to say Watch Dogs 2, and Recore I can get next year after patches and stuff like that.
That was a loaded compliment. That was a loaded compliment with the Recore. He's like, I'm interested in Recore, even though I'm hearing bad things about it.
I mean, its launches in a couple of weeks, and they're still saying it's technical
Nah,
issue.
it's out now.
What's that?
Recore, I think, is out now.
No, it's Tuesday. Tuesday it drops. 13th.
Oh, but there are copies that are already out in the wild. People complaining about the load times.
Yeah.
So I mean, I figured by the time early next year that'll all be fixed and I'll cop. So this year has to be Watch Dogs 2. I mean, Watch Dogs 1 was one of my favorite games of 2015. Bought the DLC, got the extra missions. I mean, that game left me waiting for the sequel, and I can't wait to play it. So,
besides the Spider-Man game, that's the game that really like PlayStation Pro featured a few times in the press. They showed the Spider-Man game and Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, but that Spider-Man game is also coming out for the PS4 too.
Oh, it is. It's not just Pro.
yeah,
I'm
it's
pretty sure it's remember, every game from now on is coming out on PS4 and Pro.
That's true. That's true.
for now.
By the way, I'm loving that background right there, that Final Fantasy right now.
I'm telling you, man, it is going to get delayed to 2017. I don't believe it's coming out in November. I really don't. I didn't even believe when it was announced to come out in September.
I mean, I don't know. Oh, by the way, another game that's coming out, I mean, I don't know if we're getting into honorable mention territory, but it's Final Fantasy VII too. It's supposed to drop this year?
No way. No.
Oh, no?
No, we don't have any footage or information about that. I don't think that's coming out this year. No. If anything, you'll probably see like a little teaser trailer in the copy of Final Fantasy 15. That I can see. But I don't see a demo or anything happening.
How about you, son? You got an honorable mention?
I mean, I'm inclined to say Watch Dogs 2 as well. But just to break it up a little bit, I'm going to say Mafia 3. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the footage that's come out over the past couple of days.
Mafia. I haven't seen
Mafia
it.
3 looks amazing. Mafia 3 takes place in like a pseudo New Orleans type setting, and it tackles like racial issues. You play as like a black main character who's running his own mob organization. And so story-wise, it looks really awesome. And
What time period? What time period does it take place in? Like, when does it happen?
it's like in the 1960s or something like that.
Like
And
Prohibition?
it's
Oh,
like
that's
all
happening.
original. Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And IGN just did a special on it. They have a bunch of footage from that, and it looks really, really strong. Like, you know, Grand Theft Auto type visuals and design mixed with like, you know, the classic Mafia 2 story and branching storylines with dialogue and stuff like that. So I think it's gonna be awesome.
Smooth,
Can't
you
wait
got
for
an
that.
honorable mention you want to throw out there?
I mean, I guess since I mentioned Recore already, I mean,
No,
I guess
Recore, that was a side. That was a side. We saw what you did there. Nice try. Give us a real one.
I'd say Titanfall 2. That was another game of you know, the first one I enjoyed the time that I put into it. It was a little unpolished, but this one, you know, they go in full force. Campaign to start, new features.
Did you try the beta? Did you get the
definitely
beta out of it?
No, I didn't get to play it.
You know, everybody.
Listen,
He drank the beer right after he asked if you played the beta.
Yeah, that's what it was like. And if you guys are giving an honorable mention, I'll do the opposite. I'll give like the most disappointing game, and it's Titanfall 2. Like, that is so disappointing. There was no game. It should be the game I'm most excited about. I raved about the first one. I hit the end cap when it comes to levels. I hit 10th generation. I mean, I love the game. I thought that every game since then, every FPS, except for Battlefield because it took 3 steps back, but every game since has like taken a little bit of Titanfall with it, you know, and it's sort of build up. The reason why every game since has had some sort of jetpack or double jumping, and it's just to play the beta and feel like there's no more verticality, as if the Titans now are not. It doesn't feel like we're on the same playing field anymore when you're inside a Titan. It's just the most disappointing thing I mean, it almost.
Well, did you play the
I'm
second
being
beta or
sure
not the first one? Because
in your depression.
Nah, man, it felt like playing Call of Duty. That's what it felt like playing.
The second time around?
Yeah, I mean, look, patches or not, it felt like playing Call of Duty. Like the whatever it was, the magic that was about Titanfall that just made you like blow your mind. This wasn't it. This was.
Well, first of all, let me tell you about some of the huge changes they made. Since if you didn't get to play it, and I did play both patches, and I put time into it, guys. I love fucking Titanfall. And let me tell you, first of all, the wall running is different now. As where before you just stuck magnetically to that wall and it felt like you could run forever. Now gravity sort of starts to pull you down, and it makes a difference in the way the game plays. The biggest thing, though, the single biggest thing, is that you don't rodeo the Titans. You cannot give me one good reason why you can no longer rodeo a Titan. That is one of the funnest things, and it gave this dynamic to the game where if you had somebody on your back, you might have to throw out that smoke screen to get him off you. Or maybe you didn't have that, you jump out of your Titan. But it was this weird dynamic that we didn't see in any other game that's gone. Now you just jump on a Titan and you pull a battery out. It is such garbage. And somebody please explain to me why you would make that.
Mind you, you pull that battery out, and then you got to go launch on top of another Titan to put the battery in.
Yeah, they thought they were being witty about it.
Now,
but like, why did you change that mechanic? If it was a different game type, if it were one game type, this weird battery game type where you can take the battery out and then give it to a teammate, that'd be one thing. But it's the part of the core mechanic now.
Yeah.
So what I will say is I have not played Titanfall 2 either beta test, but I kind of feel like EA is sending this game to die because they are launching this game a week after Battlefield 1 and then a week before Call of Duty. And this isn't just Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered, which that has its own dedicated fan base. I think that game is dead in the water. I think that game's gonna be the biggest flop of the year besides No Man's Sky.
I think Battleborn is right up there with it. But yeah,
that's true. I forgot about Battleborn. I forgot about that.
$20 right now.
Oh yeah, shit was down $15 after 4 days. You could find it for.
It's like $20 and free DLC for life.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my game my most. You guys know this, what I'm most excited about, but the people at home probably be surprised. And it's South Park. South Park, Fractured Butthole is first of all the greatest name for a video game maybe ever. South Park,
I agree.
Fractured Butthole. Are you kidding me? That is amazing.
The story on that game is interesting. It's like a parody on the Avengers films.
Yep. On the Civil War, yeah. And if the first one was a parody on sort of like the fantasy world and the Lord of the Rings and that sort of thing, this one is going to be like a parody on superheroes. And first of all, listen, if you've never played the first one, I don't blame you. I know why you have your doubts, but let me tell you, this is legitimately the funniest game I've ever played, and nothing else comes close. There's nothing close. This is funnier than most episodes and funnier than the movie. And then add to that there is a legit RPG there, a legit turnstile RPG with great gear and getting different sets. And I mean, you will walk through the town that's in the video game, in the show. You will walk through the town and talk to everyone in there. It's like you're in the. And then there's the graphics. Obviously, South Park it looks like construction paper, so it isn't hard to make it look like the show. But playing the game is like you're playing the show. My wife literally walked into the room and thought, she was like, oh, I've never seen this episode. I swear to you, that is a true story. It's like you're living the game, the show, man. It's amazing. Most anticipated game for the next 2 years. Real talk. That's how much I fucking love South Park.
That's a game I actually forgot about completely because during the Ubisoft press conference, it was like a very small part of it, and then they would focus on like the big hitters, Watch Dogs 2, Ghost Recon, stuff like that.
The voice acting is amazing. I mean, Morgan Freeman is damn near in the game. I mean, the voice acting is amazing.
Oh, really?
You will
next-gen voice acting?
Oh, yes. Experience. Listen, it's a next-gen experience a la Drake's Uncharted because you actually travel up someone's anus. A whole level is you working your way up an anus, it's absurd, man. There are some fights where you're literally in the bed watching your parents make love, and it's rated X, man. You will be fighting as balls swing through, which you have to avoid. Yeah. Or, I mean, guys, it is absurd. It is absurd, and yet it's South Park, so you know what you're getting into. And it's just the funniest game out there, man. I mean, that's all I can do. If you buy it and pre-order it, you get the original. That enough is a reason to get it.
There you go. For sure.
So is that it? Is that all? Everything we should be excited for? Is that what we're looking at?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot more games, but, I mean, we're trying to keep it up for just one, right? And the runner-up. or the honorable mention?
I was just saying if anybody had something that they were really feeling passionate for, because otherwise I got a really hot fantasy draft topic for this week. If you guys are new to the show, then you don't know that what we like to end to sort of wrap this thing up with a bow. And what we do is we have like a fantasy draft. And last week we did, we basically were picking MCU characters from the superhero movies, and we were building a sort of our dream movie, I should say. What 3 superheroes would you want in your dream MCU movie? This week, I'm going to flip it a little bit. I was watching Limitless on Netflix. Limitless has 5 stars. Really surprised. And I love the show. Just finished it. And then I saw the commercials for Lethal Weapon. I also sort of saw Minority Report. And it got me to thinking, man, there's a lot of movies that are being made into TV shows. And that's what I'm going to propose to you guys. I'm going to pretend that we're all producers here, and we're about to spit to our fans, the executives. We're going to go through and sort of name movies that we want to make into TV shows. Does that make sense to you guys? We're going to do it.
Yes, sir.
Fantasy draft style, snakeskin. And we've led with Adam. We're going to edit and come back to that. We led 2 weeks ago with Smooth. Last week we led with Sonic. So this week we're going to start with me. I got the first pick. And I am going to do, surprise, Kaiser Soze is going to pick Usual Suspects. In my eyes, the greatest movie of all time. And if you've seen it before, you know that it would work great in television. Just because the characters are so dynamic. The characters are very cartoony, sort of exaggerated, maybe comic booky, comic strippy, sort of. And if you know how it plays out and there's a huge twist at the end, all that could just play out great on TV. And I'm thinking of those characters like Benicio del Toro's character and Kevin Spacey's character, Verbal Kent. I mean, to me, the most iconic characters probably in movies. And maybe the younger people out there don't know about this, but this is one of the greatest movies of all time, Usual Suspects. And once you watch it, you'll realize that so many movies have borrowed from Usual Suspects. It's why it's considered, a top 50 movie on the IFC. And I'm going to pass it down to, that's it. That's my number 1 pick, guys. It is Usual Suspects. The applaud sound effect. Thank you, Neo. We're going to pass it down to Neo with the number 2 pick. Go ahead, man. What TV show would be awesome? What movie would you like to see made into a TV show?
Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
We're making billions of dollars. We'll have like 20 seasons of just rinse and repeat stupid magic shit. And the kids will eat it up. It'll be on the Disney Channel. Game over.
I can see it being called called Hogwarts. The name of the show is just Hogwarts. And it's just about shit that happens in school. Yes. This is when Harry was getting picked on. Oh damn, Harry forgot his gym clothes today.
They need to cut us a check already.
Smooth, you're up next, man. What movie would you like to see made into a TV show?
With my number 1 pick, I'm going to go with Bad Boys. So Will Smith, Martin Lawrence.
Is that happening, though?
Is it?
I think that's either happening or it almost just happened with Damon Wayans.
Nah, that's Lethal Weapon.
That is Lethal Weapon, but I feel like that was happening. Go ahead. I'm going to Google this. Go on.
No, I mean, the chemistry they had, the back and forth, the buddy cop, comedy, but also the badass action scenes and stuff like that. It would make for a good, 21 Jump Street-ish type show. So I'm going with that was my number 1 pick.
Who would be the star of that show? Who do you get for that? Because obviously Will Smith and Martin are both from TV. But somebody besides them, who would you get for that?
I'd say Damon Wayans Jr. as one. Number 2, right. I'm not sure.
Kevin Hart.
I'm looking at this, and there actually was a pilot. It looks like there was maybe between 5 and 6 episodes. The show got canceled, but there was a show back in '96 called Bad Boys.
96. Sonic.
All right. For my number 1 pick, I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna say Deadpool. The reason why is because the movie
live action.
Now,
what channel is this on? Because Deadpool was rated R. What channel are we watching this?
No, it's got to be like Netflix or HBO or something like that. It's not going to be network television. No way. But that movie had some strong writing and dialogue. So you could have several episodes where it's dialogue heavy and it's still an entertaining show. You know what I mean? And I just think it works. It'll be funny. There's a lot of action scenes. I think it will work. I think it would be awesome. And
Awesome.
the guy who should play Deadpool, I don't know his name, but he used to be on a show called Chuck on NBC. He's like this nerdy looking guy, but he's funny as hell.
Yeah.
I think he should probably play the TV version of Deadpool. That's what I got. That's the first pick.
Well, you get to go again, man.
One, right?
We're doing snake style. Yeah, we're going snake style. Give me another
That's
one.
right. My second pick is Pacific Rim. But that's going to be more of an animated type show.
All right.
I like that.
Pacific Rim, you guys seen the movie? Incredible action. Like it's kind of corny, but in the best possible way. You know what I mean? It's corny in that '90s Power Rangers kind of way. And
Would you call it Voltron?
What? Sorry?
Would you call it Voltron?
I mean, I hear Voltron is actually coming back though.
It is. It's
back. It's back on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
Voltron
watch
never
that.
live action though.
Well, let's move on to Smooth, man. Smooth. We're up to your second pick. This is the second round pick. Who are you choosing? You did Bad Boys the first time around. What movie would you like to see be turned into a TV show? Give me your best pitch.
With my number 2 pick, I'm going with a kids movie. One of my favorite movies, The Incredibles. Always one of the Incredibles 2. I heard that it was in the works and then not in the works, and now it's in the works. But
It is.
the superhero family, I mean, endless episodes. I mean, new villain every week, whatever it is. I think that would be a great show.
Excellent. Neo, we're starting to move things really quickly. You
All right.
you had Harry Potter last time. Who do you have now?
Shoot. All right. I don't know if you guys have seen a movie called Edge of Tomorrow. It was also called Live, Die, Repeat.
Excellent movie. Loved
Oh
it.
yeah.
Amazing.
That was good.
Amazing. I feel like you could give me 12 episodes easily of just that, whether it's troubleshooting a problem or the other. I was going to put a spin on it and say, let it be passed on to another person every season. So that person has to like learn everything from scratch, dying repeatedly, you know what I mean? And then the next season, new person.
That's
Yeah,
actually
that's a really good idea. I would watch that.
that was probably one of my favorite movies that came out that year. Totally an original story. If you like that, there's actually a TV show based on a movie that sort of resembles that, and it's 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys is one of the few like time travel shows that actually works. The second season is kind of all over the place, but the first season is gold, man. It's totally slept on. Actually, it's Edge of Tomorrow. But anyway, for my second pick, so I had The Usual Suspects last time, which is a really serious movie. This time around, I was thinking of like a comedy, but this is totally out of left field. You never expect. One of my favorite movies growing up was Problem Child. It was about a little redhead kid that just caused a shitload of trouble. I would love to see that made into a TV show. Just have that little kid. Just every week could be a different problem with him. That's it. I'm going with Problem Child, the TV series. You never saw that, Smooth?
Yeah, sorry.
Smooth might not have been born. Oh no, Sonic wasn't born yet.
I had that on play over and over and over growing up. Me and my sister just watched it on repeat. That's how my mother would keep us in check, I guess. So that's it. Oh no, now I get to go again. And this time I will choose. It seems like an obvious answer, but let me tell you why. So it's The Matrix, but I don't want to go like the typical route. What I want to do is like a show where it's about like people in the Matrix world. Like not everyone tried to save the world. Some people are just like doctors. Some people are just about people living in that world. People who think that they're actually living their lives, but they're actually connected to a computer. So I would live like The Matrix, but not the Neo story, just stories about people that live in that world. That's my final pick and my final pitch for movies. We're going to go down. This is everybody's final pick. And as we've been doing the past few weeks, we're going to go ahead at the end and play executives, and we're going to pick on which one of these shows we'd like to see picked up. So, Neo, you picked Harry Potter, and you had Live, Die, Repeat. Those are two pretty good ones, man. What's your third one?
Oh my God, I'm forgetting the name. I'm forgetting the name of the movie. Oh shit.
That's what happened when I said Problem Child.
Yeah. All right. I gotta go for my backup. District 9.
Damn.
Like
that movie's dope, man.
I think District 9, you can do anything that you want with it. You can talk about, oppression. You can talk about, put it this way, you can touch any topic, and literally it's almost like you can come up with any story that you want and put it in the setting of District 9, rock and roll.
That works. I've never actually finished that movie, but I guess I got to get on that.
Amazing.
Yeah, that movie-
Amazing.
After Neo is Smooth.
The hell, you got a Trump? A Trump?
It was
Was that a Trump ad in the background?
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
You got a Trump supporter in the group. All right, so that's gonna be a hot topic next week. Next week, hot topic. Our feelings on Trump. Who's up next? Is that Sonic? Is it Sonic or Smooth? No, Smooth first. Smooth. Final pick.
I'm pissed off because you stole my pick. I had in my notes The Matrix as my third pick. It's same thing where, more in line with the first Matrix movie, following Neo as a programmer, getting him out and stuff like that. So since that one is already taken, I had another safe pick, Spider-Man, but I mean, that was if The Matrix was taken, which it is. So I mean,
did you ever see the Animatrix? The Animatrix was almost like short stories that were totally independent of the main thing, but they still took place in that world. Like one of them.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember seeing all of them. I remember it though, but
I really enjoyed those. I thought they were awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
finally we ended up with Sonic. Sonic, you got Deadpool and Pacific Rim. Another strong two showings. Who's your last movie?
All right, so my last pick is based on the movie I just saw like a few hours ago. Sausage Party.
Is this not typical Sonic? Like, he just saw it, so now it's the best movie he's ever seen.
It's the best animated film I have ever
This is the one that's a TV show now.
It is incredible. It is hilarious.
Shortest term memory ever.
Listen, hear me out, man. First of all, if you've seen the movie, you guys know all of the characters are strong. You could have a Family Guy style, like hand-drawn version of Sausage Party. You could focus on different characters each episode if you want, or you could stick to the main character. It doesn't matter. That movie is incredible. That would so work on like an Adult Swim or even a Netflix.
So what is it about? Is it about them like leaving the grocery store, or is it just adventures in general?
So the show would definitely be adventures in general. It would probably be like them in the supermarket still.
Supermarket setting.
Yeah, supermarket type setting. But oh man, that movie is so funny. And by the way, for those people watching, if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to see it. For those who have seen it, you guys know what I'm talking about. The second half of that movie alone, you guys know what I'm talking about. The second half of that movie is ridiculous. It's crazy. It's off the top. You will not expect it.
I expect to see it really soon.
You have to see it. It is incredible.
So let's recap real quick before we go ahead and vote. That was a good one, Sausage Party. First thing we had was, so I was first, and I went with Usual Suspects. Then I hit you with Problem Child, and then The Matrix. Then we had Neo, who said Harry Potter, Live, Die, Repeat, also known as Edge of Tomorrow, and District 9. So heavy on the science fiction. And we had Smooth with Bad Boys, The Incredibles, and Spider-Man, but he wanted The Matrix. So a bunch of gang films, like squad films. So, did I miss anyone? That's everyone, right? Let's go ahead and go down the line.
Sonic.
We could choose who had the best trio, but I would love to hear what you think is just the all in all. So let's do both. Tell me who you think had the best showing, who we're going to give a job to, because they obviously have the best ideas. But if there's any one show, what was the best one show? I'm going to go ahead and start it off with Neo. Tell me, what you got?
I mean, I'd have to go with Sonic because I like the idea of Pacific Rim. Deadpool might be a little graphic. It might be a little too much to put on like 12 episodes, but I mean, it's Deadpool, so if there's enough comedy, I'm with it. And Sausage Party, I mean, it could sell on Adult Swim. I could see myself watching something like that.
So, and what's the single movie idea you like best? Single TV idea you like best?
And we're not picking, obviously, we
can't pick it.
Yeah. The single best, I would probably say Usual Suspects, but that's a one season, like
a mini series type thing.
You know what I mean? Yes, I got you. I definitely thought of that, but then we saw the same thing how they turned Minority Report into a show. So I mean, there's ways to sort of make things bigger. Like Biodome. Biodome's based on a book, and they went way beyond the end of that book. So it's happened before. But cool. So what we got is Usual Suspects for the single, but Sonic, you got the job, man. Congratulations. What do you think, Smooth? Who had the best trio, and then what was the single best?
The best trio, I'm going to go ahead and say Sonic as well. Deadpool, Pacific Rim. I mean, really enjoyed both those movies. I haven't seen Sausage Party yet, but from the trailers, what I've seen so far, I mean, it's going to be hilarious. So, and the single best one, it's going to be The Matrix because that was one of my picks. I mean, there's endless opportunities for story in that. You know, it's unlimited possibilities. So, I mean, that can run for 15, 20 seasons.
Excellent. So we got another vote. Sonic, you just got moved up to VP at our company. And as a matter of fact, you're so important. I'd love to hear who you think had the best trio. Go ahead, man. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Team Smooth, man. Bad Boys, I could totally see being a Fox show, but it works. Like that's one of my favorite all-time movies. The Incredibles, man. Wow. I mean, incredible movie. It would just work. Like you said, one villain every episode would just work. And I love Spider-Man. I mean, we've had the animated shows in the past, but seeing how Deadpool turned out on, I'm sorry, not Deadpool, Daredevil turned out on Netflix. Love to see a Spider-Man take place in high school. I think that would definitely work. So I'm Team Smooth. And then the single best movie or movie to TV show adaptation, I say, is District 9. Wow, District 9 is like my top 5 favorite movie ever. So that movie turned to a show would be incredible.
I own it. I really need to watch it.
You got to.
Yeah, you do.
So I guess I'm up. That was a vote for Smooth. You just got a job. You're going to be Sonic's assistant. And the greatest show is District 9. I'll piggyback off that. The greatest trio I like Neo's. There's Big Money and Harry Potter, obviously. And Live, Die, and Repeat is, I think, one of the most – when it comes to original stories, I thought it was excellent. Like, I thought it was such a concept I didn't really think about before. Sort of like Groundhog's Day. And District 9, also like a big budget sci-fi TV show could work. What I will say about all three of those is because – well, not Harry Potter, but the other two are so complex that they could be huge disappointments. Like, I could see them burning out, like, immediately.
Oh.
It could go wrong so many different ways.
Yes. Yeah.
Are involved – movies, films, you know what I mean? But yeah, I would love to see that. And I guess the single really would be Live, Die, and Repeat. You know, because but if I had to choose outside of that world, Pacific Rim again, that just seems like money in the bank. Like you're gonna be selling toys, and it doesn't matter how you do it. You can do it Power Ranger style, or you can take it really seriously and make it an FXX show. And I think it would be amazing if you put in like Strand type money. You know what I mean? That should be good.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see. I think that at the end of the day, Sonic, congratulations that you, sir, are the best at pitching movies that could become TV shows. All right. You know, something to put on your cap.
I seem to know my stuff.
And I think that's it. Guys, is there anything else that you guys want to get out there? For example, let's give out our contact information. Where can these guys hit you up? Neo, what's your contact info?
I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. Actually, I am on Instagram, but I can't give that to you. Let me see. YouTube, Neo Gotenks. NE0GOTENKS.
I'm sorry, man. I talked over you. Say that one more time.
NE0GOTENKS. YouTube.
Neo Gotenks at YouTube. Sonic, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Sonic_nerd. Should be easy to find on Twitter.
And finally, Smooth B, where can the people hit you at?
DA25 on Twitter. Same thing on Facebook as well.
Awesome. We'll make sure that we put all of that in the info on the YouTube video. I'm Uri's Kaiser Soze. That's the handle on Xbox Live and on Nintendo and on Yahoo. And that's the only way you can hit me up. Now, Castro.a@gmail as well. Hit me up on the Google+. Thanks for checking in. We will see you guys again next week where we're going to talk maybe a little bit less video games, but we definitely got a lot to talk about when it comes to Hollywood movies. Comic book season's right around the corner, so there's a lot to talk about. I know y'all are excited. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.